I got it one piece at a time, and it didn't cost me a dime. You'll know it's me when I come to your town. Gonna ride around in style, we're gonna drive everybody wild. I've got the only one there is around. Hey guys, welcome back to this special edition of Waylon Myers' Old Iron. Boy, we got a laundry list of things done on that short box Chevy. Yes, sir. I don't even know where to start. We had a fuel delivery issue. We got that resolved. That's stinking ethanol gas, I'll tell you. Anyway, I had a leaky fuel pump, oil leak around the fuel pump. Got that fixed. Put a new pinion seal in. Changed the grease, the gear oil in the hind end, and did a bunch of upgrades and cleanup and repairs and on and on. And we finally get to drive it, so stay tuned. I do believe my pants are on fire. Looks like my chair's on fire. I believe my table's on fire. Oops! Hey, welcome to Rat Rodding. My name's Waylon Wire, and don't ever do what we do here on this channel. In the last episode, we heard old Waylon say, "Well, my worst fears have been realized." Not necessarily, Waylon, not necessarily. Okay, in the last video, we left off with my having put this clickety-clack back here, and I'm still not getting fuel, and I took the gas caps off of the tanks and then blew back at the by the fuel pump up front and blew back through the tank and got airflow really easily, and then I let it down and switched the tanks and did it again and got airflow just fine out the other tank, but I'm still not getting fuel. It just kind of dribbles out of there. Now I took the air hose here and put it in and blew it back, and it flowed pretty easily for a little while, and then it come back down to a dribble, and that's what makes me think that it might be a sock filter in the tank. But before we get too rambunctious here, I'm going to see if I have fuel flow in front of that splitter valve. It could be bad. I've got another one over there, but it's odd that when I blew back through it, well, then it flowed freely, and then it kind of slowed down again. But I'm going to see what kind of fuel's coming into that valve before we get too carried away here, because boy, I hate to get into dropping those tanks. One guy on comment on video said it's easier to pull the bed than it is to drop the tanks, and I kind of believe him. I think he's probably right about that. But actually pulling the bed's not going to help much, because all the stuff's up here in under the cab, basically. So I guess I could pull the bed and the cab. Just kidding. All right, I'm gonna look in. I'm gonna take this little rock guard off there and see if I've got flow into that valve. If so, I've got one of those over there on the shelf. It may not be any better than this one. I don't know. We'll see. But those are fairly reasonable. I can get one of those. Yeah, I shoved it back on there real quick when it was flowing good, and of course it's got pinholes. You know, that stinking ethanol gas eats everything up. Man, I hate that stuff. That is just so hard on these older rigs. Okay, let's recap a little bit here. Most of you who's been around this channel for a while, you know that I know just enough to be dangerous. And sometimes I'm my own worst enemy. But anybody that ever makes a negative comment or gets real critical, if you go to their channel, they don't have any content. They don't do anything, you know, except griping about other people, what other people do. The guys that are out in the shop doing this stuff, they don't ever say anything because they know they've done the same thing. They've been down the wrong path a time or two and found out, well, that wasn't the problem, and you know, so process of elimination takes longer for people like me than it does some other people. Anyway, I thought the mechanical fuel pump was bad, but I really didn't believe it deep down in my heart, but it wasn't getting fuel to the carb. So I went a little further back and I put a clickety-clack in line in front of that switcher valve and still didn't get fuel. So I went to test. I thought, okay, maybe that valve is bad. I pulled the hoses off of that valve and put the clickety-clack in line. Let's see what happened. Yeah, I think I got it to run then on one tank. The other one, well, anyway, when I went to put the hose back on the valve, it was leaking, had a pinhole in it. That stinking ethanol gas has done it to me again. You know, it just drives me nuts. It just doesn't work on this old stuff. It eats everything up. Plus, that gas has been sitting in that tank for about 8 years. That ain't good. Anyway, okay, I think the valve's probably okay too. So I snipped the end off of that hose where it was leaking. I'll have to replace it because it'll break down again, but it was just the end that was all crumbling. So anyway, I put that back on the switcher valve and hit the switch and, well, turned on the switch because I had that clickety-clack on there still. And yeah, it started up. It's getting fuel to the carburetor. So now, where are we at now? Well, that little pinhole, I think it was sucking air. I think that was the whole problem. And the other tank, I guess I just didn't have enough gas in it because it would clatter real loud. The fuel pump, electric pump would clatter real loud. And then you switch it over to the tank and quieten right down. So I knew it was getting fuel on the other tank. And I had put gas in both of them just to make sure, but I guess I didn't put enough in there. Apparently it's not picking it up. So anyway, I took my pump out, hooked everything back up just like it was. You know, I spent all that time for nothing, I guess. Well, not much. I was entertained, whether you are or not. I just kept me out of the bars for a few days. But now, just now, a little bit ago, I hooked everything back up to the mechanical fuel pump, which I knew was good deep down. Yep, and it is. It fires up and runs. Now, the true test. Oh, by the way, I was expecting fuel to just free flow out of the tank, but apparently it doesn't. Apparently it has to siphon out, and I guess the fuel pump pulls it out of the tank. So the true test will be when I come out here tomorrow morning. Will it fire up? That'll be the real deal right there. I guess one advantage to the 6-cylinder is you can crawl right up in here with it. Oh man, I crawled up in here and my new plugs are over there on the bench. Wouldn't you know it? I gotta gap them anyway, so I'll be back. Kind of curious about these plugs anyway. Just kind of like to take a look at them. Not that it really matters. Just curious. Well, it had a rat's nest in the breather, the intake, and it was smoking really bad. And I pulled this hose off the intake. I just wonder if that might have anything to do with how it runs. Ain't that a revolting development? Yeah, it's a little, well, it's a little black, but it ain't carboned up or oily or anything. So, yeah, guys, always check the gap on your new spark plugs, because you never know. I've had it happen. It'd be slammed shut, you know. Guy drop a box, some guy in a parts store drop a box or something. You never know. Maybe a guy at the factory, you know, it's Friday afternoon, he was already starting to party a little bit. Or maybe he's just daydreaming about his sister-in-law or something, you know, and didn't set them right. So I always like to check them. Okay. I'm gonna shut her down for tonight. Yeah, it's 10:30, and I gotta get up at daylight. I get up every morning and walk to the bottom of this canyon and back as soon as I can see. So I guess I better get my sorry self to bed, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Okay, next day. Let's see if this junk's gonna run. Check and make sure there's no cats in the fan blade or anything like that. Well, it would appear that that little tiny pinhole leak back there with the gas line coming into the splitter valve was sucking air and not allowing the fuel pump to pull fuel. Thanks, ethanol gas. Thanks a bunch. But anyway, glad I didn't drop the tanks and all that stuff. Oh boy, that would have been a humdinger of a video, wouldn't it? Yeah. All right. Those old molecules are dancing around in there. See what happens. The other day, I went in to see this lady who's been kind of helping me out with a little bit of health issues I'm having, and I walked in and she looked up from her desk and she said, "You know, Ken, you are just glowing." She said, "You look really good." And my first thought was, well, maybe if I'm glowing, maybe I'm pregnant, but I think in order for that to happen, you have to be exposed. So with my great deductive reasoning skills, I decided it must be something else. And I told her, I said, "Darling, I'm afraid that ship sailed many years ago, this glowing thing." But anyway, I figured out what it is. And you wouldn't think this would happen at my age, but old Waylon has fallen in love. I have to admit, and that's why you see this smile on my face and this kind of aura about me that's a little different than what you usually see, you know. And that's what's going on. So I just thought I'd let y'all in on that. I have fallen in love with this little square body short box pickup. I just the longer I own it and tinker with it, the more I fall in love with it. So it's kind of like I don't know, that Impala, you know, every time I drive it, I fall in love with it all over again. I had one when I was a senior in high school, and looking out over that long hood, man, that thing was just an extension of my fine body at the time. Well, that ship sailed too, but anyway, I have fallen in love again. So, yeah, it's fun, you know, bringing this old truck back to life and just giving it life again. And yeah, and so I'm getting ready to do a having said all that nonsense, here's some more nonsense. I'm getting ready to do a vice grip garage rebuild on this whole suspension and fender well area here and all that. So yeah, that's what's going on right now. I'm rebuilding the suspension under here, the springs and everything, the shackles, all that. The frame, we're rebuilding the frame. So, man, that ain't working out real good. Anyway, I'll let you guys get back to what you're doing, and I'll get back to what I'm doing. Regardless of the condition of these and these, that's a major improvement over what we had. All right, let's see if we can remove some of the ugly out of this truck. I'm sure I'm gonna have to heat these bolts up. I've had to heat everything else up on this thing. It's just so rusted up, but I'll give it a shot. See how it goes. Expect it won't go well. It'll be tough, but I'm just the guy to get her done. Let me get my lid. I don't want to get all that dirt in my bald head, you know. Nah, it's not going to budge, so I may as well get the hot wrench out, and I'll clean them all off so I can get to them all and heat them up, and we'll go from there. Let's see if we can knock some of the ugly out of this thing. Wake up Leroy. Wake up Leroy, because he ain't never seen a wreck like this before. Thought I unhooked that. Dang. Oh, it just hung in the bumper. I did unhook both little license plate lights. Now, I don't know, I may have to build some brackets to hold this other bumper. I ordered a nice little chrome bumper that I could tuck up close to the body. So yeah, I'm sure this will have to go. I put one on my other square body, but it was so many years ago I don't remember how I mounted it. Hardly remember yesterday. Another thing that I have to do on this truck is change out these hinge pins. It's gotta happen. You can see that. Oh, we're gonna take care of that. See? It ain't gonna shut unless you slam it hard. Well, today I discovered another peculiar thing about this little half-ton Chevy pickup. I'm fortunate enough to buy this from the original owner. They bought it new. So I've got the build sheet that came with it. And it came with that turbo 400 behind that little 256 cylinder. I'll never know why, but it was a guy special ordered this truck. Well, not only that, but I went into Napa today and told Charlie I wanted to service this rear end and I need a pinion seal. And well, I just assumed, you know, half-ton C10, 79. Well, Charlie don't assume anything. He's on the ball, boy. And I was telling him about that transmission. He goes, well, I wonder if it's got the heavy-duty rear end. Sure enough, 8 3/4 rear end. This thing's got the heavy-duty rear end in it. I don't know what the guy that ordered it, what he thought he was going to do with it. Because that 6-cylinder ain't got enough power to pull the hat off your head. It's a mystery, but that's how it came from the factory. I guess he ordered that stuff. Well, I don't see any sparkles in it. Yeah, I don't see any glitter whatsoever. There's not even any gray mud. I think we're all right. I'm sure it was low because that pinion seal was just dumping. Put a new gasket on there and seal it back up. Clean it up, seal it up. Don't mind snugging those up with a rattle gun, but I like to kind of finish them off by hand so I know just exactly what's going on, how tight they are. Excuse me. Boo, I guess that's cool. The other thing I want to do, well, if I was to drive this thing any great distance, I need to adjust the slap in that rear end because it's a little bit loose. You know, my dad used to set them with a paper bag. That was how he got his clearance. But that wasn't, that was like an old 1950 Chevy. I don't know what the recommendations are on one of these, but I can find out. Well, I got that cap and rotor changed out, and then I remembered, oh yeah, I have spark plug wires. I forgot about them. Also got that gasket, put a gasket on that water pump. I'm getting tired. That fuel pump. And I can't find anything wrong with that sending unit. It doesn't appear to be loose, but I thought that's where the oil was coming from. Maybe not. It's probably just running, you know, dripping down and running off somewhere else. It travels. So I'm gonna do my plug wires, and then oh yeah, I started it up, so I need to check the oil. Well, the oil's just right. Those replacement wires, they look like really good wires, but they're really long compared to what was on there. So I'm gonna have to make up some wire loom and tidy that up. But I've got another little chore I want to try and get done right now. Oh, I got an air filter too. May as well do that while I'm here. Mazel. Okay, my next little adventure is to swap out these hinge pins. They are, and bushings. They're right here. There's little brass bushings, and there's the new pins, and yeah, that's the next joyous thing to do on this rig. I think they're tight enough right there that I can kind of test it out. Give it a test drive. All right, I'm gonna have to do some adjusting with that striker. Yeah, the top's gotta come out. Bottom's about right. least it won't be sagging anymore. There we go. It's making noise because that window's loose in there. I don't have the door panel on the inside, and I've got it, but boy, they're really bad. They're all weather baked and cracked and just pretty well shot. And I don't know if I've got the hardware to put them back on, but I've got some ordered, but it may be 8 weeks before I get them. They're sitting on a ship out in the ocean somewhere. Well, I'm going to look over there in the glove box and see if I have any hardware to put this together. But see how bad it is, just crumbling into little pieces. It's just sunbaked, but it's all broken up here, scratched all up. I'm missing the little felts, the little felt window guides go in here. And I don't know where they're at. One time this window was broke out and took this door all apart, took those felts out. So hopefully I can source some new ones, but I'm gonna look in the glove box, see if there's any hardware for that. Well, I'm not sure what holds that in on the bottom. Thought maybe it would just lift out or something, but I think I can get to what I need to. Yeah, it starts just that hard. You know, when I got this truck, I didn't know what I was getting. It lived in the woods for 8 years, only about 5 miles from here. So all I did was drive it home, and it wouldn't hardly pull up the canyon. Well, I had that big rat's nest in the intake, but I decided, and it was smoking real bad. So I decided, okay, that 6-cylinder's got to go. It's history. It's out of here, and I promptly went and got a 454 out of the motorhome to put in this. And after I drove this thing last night, I tell you what, it is a sweet little truck. It just, oh, it drives out straight, true. There's no rattles. There's a little bit of wind noise over here. I need to put the seals in for that window. That's why that's those guides, you know, and then the seal around the top is missing. So you may hear that, but it's a nice truck. And you know, I put some shocks on it, and it drives great. When I brought it home, it was pretty bad. Really bad. I don't know if he ever put shocks on it. He probably did. But anyway, it never even crossed my mind until I was on my way into town last night that this is a sweet little one owner original truck, factory original, everything. I've got the build sheet. You know, it's nice to have that paperwork. What do they call that? Provenance. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, all the history. I have all the history of this truck. And on the way into town last night, it just hit me. You know what? I don't think I can molest this truck. I really don't. I was adamant in the beginning. You know, nothing about this truck a 454 will fix. You know, to fix that exhaust leak, and then I did a few other things, and I need to do the brakes. It needs some. It's got a little pulsing, and when you push the brake, but rotors are pretty cheap. I'll get some. I think I can fix that. You know, and yeah, I'm just having trouble now molesting this original one-owner vehicle. It doesn't hurt to have a 454 in inventory. You know, nothing wrong with that. Have a big block Chevy in your inventory, and I can always find something to throw that in. I can always make a hot rod, but I've got enough toys. I don't need to turn this into a toy. This is a pretty nice little truck. So I think I've just about convinced myself to not molest it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Let me know. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. But boy, it's a sweet little truck. Just a cream puff. And right now, you know, I've had this on my bucket list. And tentatively, I want to drive my Impala across the country. And I've got quite a bit of work to do to it before that can happen. And on September 1st, I'm going to start working on that Impala. But should I run out of time or run out of money, there's things I want to do. Like I'd like to put a big old aluminum radiator in it, you know. But this is a great contingency plan. If I can't get that propeller ready in time, or that just doesn't work out, this truck would be a wonderful vehicle to drive, make that trip I want to make. Plus, there's another issue with the Impala. I'm really leery about having that thing out and staying overnight in hotels. You know, on that power tour, there was 3 or 4 vehicles got stolen, and you know, somebody would. I mean, they could steal this too, but I think they'd be more apt to go out of their way and steal out of Impala. So, I don't know. You guys can also let me know what you think about that. But I'm concerned about that. You know, I'd have to find certain hotels, talk to them in advance, and make sure it's okay if I park right in front of the front door where they can see it all night long, things like that. But I'd hate to lose this, but I'd rather lose this than my Impala. So, if you're starting to feel like, if you're starting to feel like you need some square body in your life, go check out this video by my friend Jason over at Old Car Guy. He did an excellent video about just some things to look for and what he was looking for and how he went about it and all that. And it's a really good video. Go check it out. And if you've made up your mind that you just have to have some square body in your life, well, my buddy Chief Squatting Bull has one for sale. It's about like this, about the same era. I don't know exactly the year, but it's close. So I'll put a link to both of those guys right here in the description down below the video here, and I'll put it right across the screen for you guys that watch on your TV, because I've been told you don't see the stuff that's in the descriptions when you're watching on your big screen. Check out Jason and Chief Squatting Bull. Okay, guys, that'll do it for this time. I'm sure glad you stopped by and spent a little time with me. And to my family, I love you. To all my subscribers out there, oh, I sure do appreciate you. We'll see you next time.